What's up guys, Thomas here, FastTrackFBA. Today I want to talk about how I run my business in Tim Ferris 4-hour-a-week work style, and if I was going to start again, how would I get there? I feel like I'm back at school, I've got my pens, book, I'm just going to draw it out. I'm just going to try and explain it step by step, how it all works, what the situation is. So let's get started. Number one, jobs. And why do I talk about this? Because quite simply, it's to break down your Amazon business. What do you need to do in Amazon to make it work? Logically, to start with, you've got source products. Once you've found a product to source, you then buy that product. And then after that, what do? Prep. And then obviously you ship it to Amazon, that's fine. We sell that item. And then finally, we deal with like reorders, so like replens, inventory management, etc. And then finally we deal with accounts. Look, so before we kind of start this, what I just want to talk about is where should you be before you start considering this? Well, number one, don't think you can come into Amazon and start doing the 4-hour work week from the get-go. No, not at all. It's probably taken me about 4 years to get here. Number two, don't think you can probably do this if you're just doing like a couple of £1,000, even less than 10,000 a month. It's just not worth it. This is about hiring teams, and that team has a cost, and when you're doing like 10,000 a month, it's probably not worth it. So top tip for you, if you are thinking about the 4-hour work week, you probably need to be doing at least 20 grand a month. That's what I'd say as a minimum. I'm doing 35 and it works for me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not making huge amounts of money because I have huge costs, but the metric I look at rather than just revenue and profit is profit per hour worked. That's what I'm interested in. I still pay myself about £1.5 grand. After all my costs, I make about 2 grand on top of that as well in the business. And that's for 4 hours a week. On top of my head, 16 hours per month, roughly, over about 3.5 grand. So that's a really nice per hour wage. This is about building the life you want. Now, if you are purely about making money, profit, wanting to invest in assets afterwards, 4-hour work week might not be the right solution for you, but this is just about maybe thinking about lifestyle. Let's get into it and let's actually plan it out now. First things first, for me, you are going to be outsourcing your prep and ship. Why? Because you know what? It doesn't add value. Yes, it's going to cost you, but again, you'll hear about reducing the amount of time you spend on it in prep isn't adding value. Get rid of that, outsource that. The other one, accounts, you're going to just pretty much outsource that as well. You do not want to be dealing with your accounts, the bookkeeping, everything like that. Outsource that to another accountancy. That's what we do. That's what I do. It's them. And at the end of the day, I can just call them and say, I want a P&L every month. I want a P&L and I want a balance sheet. Give me that, and they'll do it, and I can just trust in them to do it. And they're competent in that, and I don't have to worry about it, nor do I have to train the staff or replace them and deal with holiday. They just make it happen. So the kind of two areas you really got to look at are, number one, the source area, which is like, we talk about like VAs, and I run the VA Academy where we hire VAs. I'll drop a link down below. So we've got like sourcing. This is a big area. Now this is where you spend a lot of your time. So this is like a really big area. And then on top of that, we've got buy. Now that's just the process. Buying is analysis of the source and then purchasing. The next stage is here between prep, ship, and then coming back to replens. Now, interesting enough, replens ties in very nicely with buying. When you're gonna buy something, you're replenishing it, that's fine. And then the next stage is to talk about prepping, getting the products once they're in the thing, and getting them sold. So to me, this is kind of like another role. So this is like selling is a process. So there's kind of 3 areas I look at in my business when I'm really just dealing with this. Now, and I kind of talk about the big areas I look at are here, this is sourcing, the other big area is purchasing, and obviously that's a really trusted area. And then the other part of it is around selling, admin assistance, selling, administration, ensuring stocks where it needs to be, and even dealing potentially with accounts, getting invoices, chasing them up. So kind of 3 areas. Now that leads me quite nicely onto the next section, which is how I structure my business. So let's go through now and have a look at how I structure my business and plan that out. This is the second section. Now this is about team and how I structure my team. So I'm just going to put it out there. I kind of have 4 people in my team. That's it. Really super simple, really small. I'm not a big fan of big teams. I think it just makes more admin than you need. So we have purchasing manager, they have sources, and then in addition to that, admin. Now they are in effect the 4 people I have, and this is part-time, full-time, full-time. Cool, and I'll put these in boxes so we can just highlight they are people. Now, quite simply, how does it work in my business? So let's go back to the green. Now, quite simply, obviously, when we're thinking about it, what's going to happen? Well, my sources are going to finding deals. Let's call it that way. Now we have certain criteria we work to, that works really well. Now, my purchasing manager is obviously review deals and then buy. My admin, she is doing pretty much everything from the moment a deal is purchased. So this is dealing with warehouse check-in, shipments. We do the shipment creation ourselves, but you know, a lot of prep centers will do the full shipment creation for you. We'll also talk about, she does like Amazon, inventory reconciliation, daily checks. And in that, you know, you're talking about like customer messages, everything, you know, stranded inventory, pricing alerts. She'll also do repricing and get that repricing up. And then also as well, like invoices, and the invoices for the accountants going out, and she actually accesses my emails and goes out and does them, and she'll access my purchasing manager's emails and do them. And then warehouse check-in, and also as well, any stock missing from the supplier that hasn't been shipped in, you know, to the warehouse, she will chase that up as well. So pretty much managing all of that, the moment stock comes into the warehouse, taking it from there right through to selling it, and also as well uploading reports, generating reports, and even things like Seller Toolkit. I'll drop a link down below. That's like a P&L software, really good, really detailed, by the way. Now, could we come back? My purchasing manager, like, there's a lot of work to do with purchasing. So we've been talking about like replens, cashback, also training. My purchasing manager actually does the training for the sources. Now, not to say the VA Academy doesn't do training, it does, but what does my purchasing manager do? My purchasing manager then does the training for the sources to get them right. Now, interesting enough, what do my sources do above sourcing? Well, they are not just doing sourcing. Here's where we add real value. So, number one, they are checking all my replenishments. You know, every single day they're spending like an hour going through all our ASINs, all our stock that we want to buy again, checking that for them. My purchasing manager said to me the other day, which was like insane, he has 400 emails every single day about deals. It's like, what? But he says, don't worry, Tom, I don't actually check them. My team check them for me. I was like, wow. So interesting enough, the sourcing VAs, they check supplier deals. Now, what does that mean? It basically means they're going through the list of like top sales, voucher codes, you know, what's going on, and they talk to themselves. They're in bonus and they're incentivized, half on their performance individually and half based on the company performance. So it's in their interest to get that. Now, interesting enough, if the company doesn't hit its profit targets where it needs to be for them to hit bonus, they don't get payout. So we're really trying to incentivize them to work together. And we want to, and I'm going to put it in here, work together. And we have certain criteria, and if I just kind of let you into that, what we're really looking for, high volume, big amount of money we can spend. Think about more wholesale, but on the retail space. Not interested in 3, 6 small purchases. We want big ones. This is pretty much what my team do. I could probably go into a lot more detail, but if you think about it from a perspective of, we find a supplier, Argos, we go out and search that deal. The sources find those deals. Then what happens is that they're going to find a deal, they're going to send it to my purchasing manager to review, he's going to like it, he's going to buy it, and then it gets shipped into my warehouse. My warehouse is then going to ship and prep it, and then, you know, my team here, my admin part-time assistant, she's going to do all the warehouse check-in, make sure it's actually come in, so no missing stock. Then that stock item is going to go into Amazon. My purchasing manager, he sets the minimum max pricing, it goes into Amazon, it gets sold because we do the repricing. Repricing is pretty much just a standard procedure, and then once it gets sold, it goes back into another workflow, which is talking about reorders. And interesting enough, it's my sources checking the reorders that are in stock and adding them into my workflow for my purchasing manager to do the purchasing to free up his time. Even things like maybe in building baskets that my sources can do. It's my purchasing manager going, yeah, I want that, cool. And then obviously once it's done, then interesting enough, my admin assistant is doing all the invoices, passing off to my accountants, and that's it. That's just the process. And how would we scale it? How would we grow more? I'd probably add another sourcer in. I might look at saying, are there elements of the admin that we can just change? But generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with that for the moment. I don't think I need like a pre-checker, a double checker. That isn't something that's needed. So right here, we've just got all this information, all these deals coming in, and here's what's happened. It's quite simple, and then my admin assistant deals with everything in Amazon. That's it. The next question you are probably asking is, if I'm interested in making the 4-hour work week, what do I do? Well, if you want to know, I'll put it up here. Tom, what does Tom do? Money moving. And I see reports. So I have KPIs on my business, and I have team meetings. Finally, what do I do? Completely forgotten the last one. What is the last one? Oh, I do training. And it's kind of like development. So it's development with my purchasing manager, my admin. I'm just looking at different areas of the business. Now, if you want to do, this is 1 hour. Reports, I'd actually say they're together. You know, they're together. Meeting is 1 hour a week. And then dev, 2 hours. That's it. If I'm not doing dev, if we're pretty happy with where we are, I'm doing 2 hours. That's it. I'm just doing meeting, moving reports. But if I'm doing dev, development, in my team, for another 2 hours. So there you go. That is what I do in my 4-hour work week. Let's now go through how you could make that happen if you want to do it step by step, planning forward. Step 3, 4-hour week. 3 step by step. Cool. Okay, fantastic. Let's just talk about how I would approach this logically. Step by step, how would I make it work? Step 1, let's just talk about like in months. Month 1, and we'll put it here. So the prereqs. So what do you need to do? Now, generally speaking, you need to be already selling on Amazon. If you're not selling on Amazon, don't try and do this. Number 2, I recommend 20,000 revenue per month. That's where you want to be. That's a bare minimum, and you've got to understand what you're doing. And also, if you've got management experience, this really, really helps. So month 1, what would I do? Well, quite simply, I would hire 3 sourcing VAs. There's a good saying, and I listen to it all the time. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. You need a team. A business is a team. And you know what? Whether it be VAs or hiring people in the UK, they're not virtual, it's still a team. You've got to hire people. It only becomes a business, a proper business, when you have people. 3 sourcing VAs. What would I be looking for? I would be looking for which one out of the 3 really understands my deal criteria, my deal analysis, and how would I actually do it? Well, I'd probably spend 1 hour a day for the first month with all 3 VAs on a Skype call, and I'd literally just do live deal analysis every single day. Why? We've learned from the VA Academy, that is where they pick up the most. That's how they pick up their learning. It works super, super well. So 1 hour a day, live deal analysis for the whole month. And what you're looking for is which VA at the end of that first month is the one who understands the deal analysis the best. Doesn't mean they're the best sourcer, just the deal analysis the best, i.e. they don't bring you any bad deals, they are perfect. Now, what I would then do in month 2 is I would promote 1 VA to deal reviewer. That 1 VA now reviews the VAs from the 2 deals before you then sit down every day for an hour and review all the deals of that 1 VA. Why? Because what you're looking to do is then move that VA up to a purchasing manager. First of all, you need to make sure that they can analyze deals correctly. The biggest problem about a purchasing manager is, do they understand what a good deal is and can they make a good decision? Getting them into that stage whereby they are analyzing deals of the other VAs, first of all, that is going to make a big difference. And it's going to give you confidence that they are going to be able to buy good quality deals and spot bad ones. So what you want to see is when they're reviewing the deals from their VAs, they're bringing you the good deals. And you might also as well see what they're not showing you. That way it's going to just allow you to see their quality of deal analysis. Now, once you're happy, month 3, what would I do? I would promote them purchasing manager. Now, you might call them purchasing assistant to start with while they're in training. So promote this person, deal reviewer, purchasing assistant. So they're in training. Now for that month 3, what would I do? I would quite simply, I wouldn't be doing deal review anymore. Now deal reviewer, they're now going to promote to purchasing assistant, and their job now is to start building baskets, putting everything together. Now in that month 3, I would get him to build all the baskets ready for you. In that hour you have with them, or 2 hours, is literally go through every single deal. You should be pretty much happy with them, and then just make sure that they are checking things like cashback, voucher codes, they're putting all the baskets right. And then you physically make the payment initially, and then after say like 2 weeks, they will start to put the payment in, but only with you on a screen share during that time. And the aim is that basically after the 4 weeks of that month 3, that person has understood all your deals. They know how to build baskets, they know how to check for cashback, they're making sure that all the purchases are correctly recorded. Everything is exactly how you want it to be, because every day you are spending an hour, 2 hours with them, watching, tweaking, getting them better and better. And at the end of that month 3, they are pretty much ready to sign off, and they can go make all the purchases themselves. Month 4, you have a purchasing manager who is now going solo. Top tip, don't leave them solo. Once a week, go through the reviews, the deals with them, just have a quick spot check of all the different deals. Then you want to talk about hiring an admin. Now the admin assistant, I would really generally recommend, get them to do all the things like all your Amazon checks, just getting your stranded inventory, fixed price alerts. After that, more advanced stuff. At the end of the day, you're trying to reduce the amount of hours down, so stop micromanaging. Every time you talk to your manager, find out what they're doing, or ask them, can they get their team to be doing some of this? Get them to start thinking about using that team, these sourcing VAs, to do more. That is really important. I would then move on to month 5. Month 5 is about really refining and tweaking. These are things going to be around looking at supplier stock, repricing, missing stock, and then also reporting. And that is like financial reports, weekly P&Ls, highlighting information. And then really, what do I work on? I'm spending quality time with my team on a weekly basis, looking at the reports that are coming in, generated in month 5. And I'm trying to just drive improvement, trying to drive things better in certain areas. It's not too challenging, but the one thing that to kind of say is I've got a lot of management experience. I've done a lot of this before. If you were now doing $1 million, let's say 10 million a year, would you realistically be able to do the job you are currently doing? And if the answer is no, then the question comes is you've got to outsource it at some point. Why not start now? And hey, I've been through this journey already, and this is how I would break it down month by month if I was going to do it again. But hey, that is for me how I would do the 4-hour work week. Hopefully you found that informative. Maybe even just thinking about systematizing your business, growing it. You're going to have loads of questions. Drop it down below. I want to know your feedback, and I want to know maybe where you think you are on the kind of outsourcing process. And you know what is going to make a difference to your Amazon business. That is what I want. I want you to think differently. And I didn't even get to use my funky colored things or a 30 centimeter ruler. I was so prepared for this.